Realtors are walking this way, and I'm just going to ask if they know how to house homeless veterans. Do you know how to house homeless veterans?
No,
No.
Okay.
I sadly do not.
I do not, but I would love to learn.
I do not.
I do not, but I would like to know how.
The answer to that is no.
No. Do you know how to house homeless veterans?
I do not.
I do not.
Do you know how to house a homeless veteran?
He's a veteran and he would be
Come
homeless
here.
if I did not house.
Okay. We're here at the Capitol, Illinois State Capitol. This is the lobby day for realtors. And I did make an announcement on the bus about my 3-hour course that I wrote to teach realtors how to work effectively with a homeless veteran. Just because the veteran is homeless doesn't mean they don't have resources to use to get housed or to get anything else they need, because they do. But how do you get to those resources to help that homeless veteran get housed? I've got the class, and it'll be out soon. Well, hello there and welcome back. It's like we just took a break from this morning and we're back. So that was lobby day at the Illinois State Capitol. That was my second time as a realtor, and I've been a realtor. Every time I get on, my hair starts to act crazy. And I've been a realtor for 29 years. It's not until I don't know, somebody said, but you should go to lobby day. I think you'll get a lot out of that. So I'm like, okay. They came and got us in a luxury bus from Main Street Organization of Realtors in Tinley Park at like 6 in the morning, but we were there bright and early because we didn't want to get left, because otherwise my husband would have had to drive us to Springfield. So who was going to do that? So, and it's not until this past lobby day and what's going on behind the scenes of me advocating and moving veterans around and showing you all how to do it, and talking to homeless veterans and veterans at risk of being homeless, and disabled veterans who are losing their homes, and who are homeless in a tent, who are homeless in their cars. Oh my God, this is going on nationwide. Why doesn't anybody want to learn how to move veterans around effectively? Why? And everybody can say we shouldn't have homeless veterans. We have over $900 million in grants in our homeless veterans community that was awarded to 400, and this is the proof right here. All right, these 411 recipients, these SSVF organizations have received this grant money to help support our homeless veterans and those at risk of being homeless, those who have gotten their water turned off and still not on. So I'm glad I went to that lobby day, because that's what I want to do, and I need voices. $900 million is in our community for homeless veterans. Let me just read this to you, because I don't think y'all really understand the magnitude of what I keep talking about for the past 22 plus consecutive years. I've been working in the homeless veteran space as a realtor and getting commissions to do it. Some years I made a 6-figure income just housing homeless veterans. People would ask me, Vet, do you work with anybody else besides a homeless veteran or veteran period? My answer to that is no. Y'all have everybody else. Who do we have? So I work with homeless veterans. I work with you so you can understand how to house homeless veterans. So on August 27, 2025, the Department of Veteran Affairs announced more than $818 million in grants to 235 organizations across the country to help veterans who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. Remember, I said 411, right? So 235 in this newsletter, not newsletter, whatever, public service announcement. This one was posted on September 23rd by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. They announced Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025, it will distribute $84 million in grants to 176 organizations tackling veteran homelessness across the United States. So you have 411 organizations in our cities, in our states, that are recipients of this money to help our homeless veterans, our veterans who are at risk of being homeless. For instance, I'm just going to go right to Iowa. Iowa, this organization, Family Alliance for Veterans of America Incorporated, received $1,249,491 in Iowa. In Maryland, Project Please Incorporated received $4,024,017. So that's a lot of money for veterans to still suffer in these cities and in these states because, hey, they don't advertise. Who you have a homeless veteran, because people always contact me and say, Yvette, by the way, my name is Yvette Jones Swanson, and I am the National Veterans Homeless Housing Advocate, Realtor, and Professional Services in the GovCon space. And this is my show, Boots on the Ground, because I had to come and tell somebody what's going on in our homeless veterans community, because y'all don't know clearly. Let me tell you how I know you don't know. You don't know because we still have homeless veterans, and a lot of them. And everybody keeps saying, why do we have homeless veterans? Because you don't know how to move them around. You can learn how to move them around as a realtor. I wrote the book for that. As a realtor, and get your commissions, because nobody is asking you to house homeless veterans for free. When we house a homeless veteran, we are writing a lease, and somebody is going to receive rent on that unit every single month. And whoever is receiving rent on that unit will be paying a commission to your brokerage. My brokerage is Real People Realty. So when I house a homeless veteran in an investor's unit, I get a commission. What's the big deal? You know what the big deal is? The big deal is you don't know how to do it. You want to run a veteran's credit to the gutter. You want, every time a veteran with the HUD-VASH voucher, oh my God, go see a unit. You got to do an application, do a credit check, employment background, eviction check. What else they check for? I don't even know. Income verification. Who's your firstborn? Bring me a sample hair. You know, it's so now you're denied because the agent or the brokerage doesn't know how to calculate the 3 times the amount of rent. So now that you're not approved, because clearly if the rent is $1,000, you should be bringing in $3,000, but you got a voucher. So what are they multiplying? They're not multiplying the right number. They're supposed to be multiplying that tenant's portion in proportion to how much they're supposed to pay. So if they're supposed to pay $100 a month, then then their income should be $300. So isn't that 3 times the amount of their rent portion, not the whole rent? I wrote a class on that. I taught that class back in 2015 and 16. I taught that class for maybe 2.5 years. It was a Core B, HCV, Housing Choice Voucher, Section 8, legal issues. And that was a Core B. You got your Core A and you have your Core B, and then you have all of your electives. And let me tell you, I'm a realtor, and I hadn't been associating with realtors a lot because I'll call and say I need a unit, and I see you have one listed here in the MLS. And what's the deal with this? I have a veteran who has a voucher. What is your owner looking for? Your investor looking for? Your client looking for? He wants 600 credit score and a whole lot of other stuff. I'm like, okay, all right, thank you. Go to the next. And then above it says no Section 8. I'll call the agent and I'll say, hey, you can't say that in the listing. That's discriminating against income. That's protected class. Well, my client said he didn't want Section 8. Okay, well, you are the realtor, and you have to tell your client the law. Otherwise, you will be affected by it, by the real estate board. I was on professional ethics committee, and I got on again this year, but I'm like, okay, it's too much. Because we have to hear these realtors discuss why you did wrong, and you did me wrong on this listing, and you were in the house doing wrong. And I'm like, oh, you didn't have sense to know that? So I just stopped teaching that class, and I just stayed solo housing homeless veterans, because working with other realtors was like shooting my pinky toe off, because nothing was going to happen. So I wrote the class to help realtors learn how to get a commission. All right, get your money, and you're going to house a homeless veteran, and your client will have cash flow from that rental. You didn't hear me name another veteran, another realtor, right? So it's just 3 of you. So as a realtor, the commission is first month's rent. So I've housed veterans. The rent was $3,000 on a HUD-VASH voucher. Rent $4,500 HUD-VASH voucher. Rent $950 HUD-VASH voucher. That's a total 100% first month's rent commission. I had no competition. I didn't have to share my rentals with anybody, because leasing agents, realtors, brokers, they're like, I don't know how. It's okay, y'all. I love y'all for real, though. But get this book and learn how. And when I launch the master class, make sure you're the first one to get that class at Mentons, okay? So my name is Yvette Jones Swanson. I am the National Veterans Homeless Housing Advocate, Realtor, and Professional Services in the GovCon space. I've been housing homeless veterans for the past 22 plus years. I myself was a female homeless veteran, and it sucked. It was horrible, let me tell you. Running away from an abusive marriage and never having anywhere to go. The most hurtful life experience. And it brought me to all of this, to going back, helping more than 5,000 homeless veterans get housed. I didn't say the veterans who purchased, some of those were purchasers, but these were homeless veterans. So, and I know there's nobody else. And if it is, please step up. Come on. So, and that's for all of you. All of you can step up. This is my library. I'm missing a few. In my bio, you can go to my bio. If you are a realtor, go get a realtor's blueprint, the veteran's path to home, navigating the journey from homelessness to home ownership. That's what you're helping this veteran do. You're helping them navigate the journey from homelessness. Guess what, baby? They're going to remember you. They're going to remember you for that. I get calls from veterans who I housed 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago. We just housed a veteran homeless who bought a house, closed the house on Friday. I mean, this is what you do. You house them to a transitional unit because now you know somebody who does transitional housing, and you know that there's $900 million for transitional housing. So this is where you can refer them as a realtor, and this operator pays you a commission. That's how these two go together. This was the very first book I wrote, right? But this is the third edition, Veterans Buying Real Estate Guide for Today's Market. Because veterans, when I say veterans, I don't mean all of y'all. So don't come on here talking about, well, I knew. Okay, wonderful. But the veterans who I encounter don't know about using their VA loan. I've sold houses to senior veterans. Hold on, right here. And this was the first time he ever bought a house. Look at this older gentleman standing in the middle with that key. This is the first time he ever bought a house. He was living in a trailer, and that's in this book. Read his story. He was living in a trailer that was the whole park was being torn down. And he was the last man sitting in a wheelchair in a trailer park that was being torn down all around him. And his was on the last plank. But you see there, he bought a house. We guided him through all that. You asked me, I couldn't even tell you. Because my husband, who is also a realtor, that's my husband right there. He had to do all of his showings because I was still home recovering, healing from having COVID-19 pneumonia and then a stroke. So I'm guiding the way, through all this for him, to help him, because as a new realtor, you got to learn some stuff. So thank y'all for being here. I'll be back and answer your questions and comments after I'm done showing you the publications that I invite you to go and pick up to learn, so that you don't have to keep asking me, because I'm going to keep referring you back to a book. And I will be working with the company. They'll be interviewing me on Monday about this publication and how veterans are sharing housing, and the government is paying. If not the government, then the veteran has the funds to pay. So this book I wrote for case managers and human care professionals, because they let one more veteran like that was little old me walk out of the VA homeless. I could scream. So this book has case studies, right? This veteran here, 75-year-old, let her walk out twice from the VA homeless, and I housed her both times. That's the case study. Then case study number 1 of Mr. Wilson, who was living in a U-Haul for 11 months with a HUD-VASH voucher in a wheelchair, and nobody found him any place until, I found him a condo downtown Chicago. He's been there now a little over 11 years. And my commission as a realtor was $3,000 because it's first month's rent plus the paperwork because this was a new owner. And he was like, Yvette, I really don't have time for all of this. And I'm like, sure, $250. I'm a realtor. I'm not a social worker. But I play one when I'm talking to my veterans and I find out what they need. And you can too. Get this book right here. This is the National Guide. What's it called? My book, the titles are so long. Finding Home, a National Resource Guide for Supporting Homeless Veterans. You know, veterans resources are everywhere. I'm finding stuff out like, wow, that's really nice. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much over here on TikTok and over here on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. All right, let me go. Appreciate your dedication. Oh, let me put it on the screen. Appreciate your day, Jeffrey. Appreciate your dedication to helping those who serve. Truly powerful. Get some books, Jeffrey, so you can learn and do it too, please, and thank you. And that's what I want to know. Why do you all come here every day? Because what? What you want to learn? Because I'm going to invite you to learn. I am housing over 5,000. And they say that it was more than that. I'm like, you know what? I just can't be saying that because people won't believe it. It was, and it still is, a lot of homeless veterans in the fan club. Thank y'all for joining my fan club. How can local communities partner to support more veterans housing programs? Buy the books and read and learn. And then you can also hire me to come and do workshops in your community to support the partners. This is my business, and this is what I do for a living. What's the biggest challenge veterans face when transitioning from shelter to they don't have furnishings. Some of them only have a couple bags of clothes. They need a bed. They need to know where the food stores are. They, it's really setting up a brand new person to live. When I moved out of homelessness into my first apartment, it was 2 couches in that studio apartment. And I told the manager, take this one out, I'll keep that one. And that was my bed until I saved up $99 to buy a twin size bed. I was a grown woman sleeping on the couch, but I had my own apartment. I had no more furniture. I had to go to thrift stores and buy. It was rough coming out of homelessness. So we need everything. Everything. The chat is inspiring. So glad I tuned in live. I am too, Dirk. Thank you for being here from YouTube. What steps can new advocates take to get started helping veterans? Pick a book. Any book. All the books. You want to house veterans in transitional housing? Get that book. You're a social worker, case manager, human care professional, first responder. Get the book. You want to say, oh, I want to help homeless veterans find their resources anytime, anywhere, any day. Get the book. So everything goes back to educating yourself. And I have the publications to do that. The first of its kind. Go on Amazon and look for another one like this. Can't find it because this is what God gave to me. Did you think public awareness is growing around veterans? How public awareness? I don't even know if I would say awareness. Do you think public awareness is growing around veteran housing issues? If it was, what are people doing about it? Really on a mass scale. I'm here live on social medias, not just YouTube. I'm on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and TikTok talking about the issues that have been plaguing our homeless veterans community ever since I've been a veteran, because it happened to me, and it's happening today. In my notes, I have veterans from New York City. I spoke to another veteran. All we needed was money to pay his water bill, which is what has been off for more than 6 months now. It's a lot of money in this community. So who's talking about it? Really, all the money that's in the community. Do you know what organizations are in your community with the funding? Most people don't. And it's not your fault that you don't. These organizations don't advertise. If you know about Catholic Charities, okay, call Catholic Charities. They have a veterans division. If you know about thresholds, okay, what money is thresholds? Because thresholds really, oh my goodness, it just I can't make these stories up. This young man was a housing locator, and over the summer, the organization contacted me and said they have. I did a video. Go scour through all of my videos and find it, and you see the picture of the video of their feet on the floor, and we're talking about being a homeless veteran, and now in these beautiful apartments, and everybody just got to choose one, and there were 6 veterans in one day that came and were all housed under my license as a realtor. So you do the math. I didn't have anybody else to share that with. My investor who sought me out, and all the veterans who needed help, because I now sent out what they have available. And the VA is calling like, Yvette. Well, I'm doing an open house. So meet me at this time. All the agencies, you have homeless veterans, get them here. Let them know this is where we'll be. Have your vouchers in hand. Anything you want is yours. That's low barrier. That's how you house homeless veterans. Don't take them through all that crap. They've already been taken through all that. You've already been checked by the federal government. You've already been checked again by another branch of the federal government. And now what? You want too much. You want too much. So that's what I will be seeking to learn to write, to have that as a reform and as a bill back in state of Illinois. We can launch that. So that's another thing I have on my agenda. But that's what needs to happen. The way we handle our homeless veterans, especially the ones who's using all this money. They can pay rent 12 months, 24 months, 48 months. I have a veteran who I housed under one of the housing programs that's still on this list here in Chicago. And he was in that apartment for 4 years under this same SSVF funding. So don't tell me it can't be done. I've seen it over 22 years. I've seen what they do. They would pay 3 months, and now the veteran's off the program. Who told you to take the veteran off the program in 3 months? What other program did you have them under? Did you help them get a job so that they can take on the rent? So now they're getting evicted, and because they use your funky program, they can't use it again because you mishandled them and you misappropriated them by not giving them the full allowance of that grant. You knew their situation wasn't going to allow them access to gainful employment in 90 days. So now you got to have me writing a letter to the mayor, to the state rep, to the congressperson, well, state first, and then the congressperson, and then all the aldermen, because it happens in one area, it's going to happen in another one. That's advocacy. That's what I do behind closed doors and in these seats. I'm what's called a whistleblower. And eventually, when all y'all learn how to do what I do, we can make change. we can make these organizations use this money the right way, because now all eyes are on them. True story. I spoke to where I'm going back soon as he gets himself back, and I'll be doing more workshops in a place. But anyway, he said, yay, that because if I wasn't going to use it on that, then we would have just had a pizza party or something. So imagine that. These organizations who receive millions. I mean, some of them receive 10 million. Here's one that received 23 million. In Florida, Society of St. Vincent de Paul, South Pinole, something, 23 million, $153,846. And this is for housing and housing counseling and healthcare and financial planning services, child care, legal assistance, transportation. Come on, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So now, but you still have homeless veterans who don't even know about that society with the funding. And because you sitting up looking at me like I'm a cartoon head talking and like, ooh, she's doing so good in that. You can too. You can do exactly what I do, exactly what I'm talking about. But you got to buy the books, support me, support the cause, learn, and you put some boots on the ground to help these same homeless veterans that you say thank you for your service to. I housed a homeless veteran. Man, I told y'all this story this morning, whoever was here. It's 548 people on YouTube. Thank y'all over here for watching. He walked up, he got out of this, the car was old, but he got out of that car with a beige cashmere coat on and a nice scarf, and he looked good head to toe. I said, and he was going through Volunteers of America to pay his rent. I said, I know, that's why we're here, because I know where the money is going to come from, and I know what investor to show you their properties, and I know I'm going to get paid a commission. So all of that happens. 3 people, 4 people. Well, me, the renter, the investor, and my brokerage. Okay. That's it. No more. No agent, no other agent, just me. And I get 100% commission. So he walks up real nice. I'm like, okay, but he lost a job. That's what I was going to tell you, in the corporate field. And how do you bounce back from that when you don't have any money to keep you going? You fall down. So he became homeless, and that organization, who is still on this list of receiving a portion of that 818 million, they're still on this list, and they were on that list. I think that was maybe about 11, 12 years ago. Let me see what, oh man. Hi. You can send me a DM. I have a couple of questions. You can send me a DM. If it's questions, I want to buy a house and my husband doesn't want to sign the divorce papers, I can't answer that question. I'm not an attorney. I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. You need an attorney. Your husband is a veteran? Oh, I don't know. I have an attorney. I don't know what state you're in though either. Appreciate your dedication. You are the vet. Okay, yeah, DM me, and then you gotta talk to Jag. You gotta talk to Jag. Okay, I saw that. What's the biggest challenge? What steps? Okay, I said get a book for all of these questions. Do you think public awareness is growing? We just talked about that in depth. What's the biggest career mistake people make before pivoting? I don't know. We're talking about something totally different. Thank you. All right. So thank y'all for watching. I got to upload another video because we have a sponsor. Let me see. Where's that video? I got to upload it. I've got to save it to I'll figure that out. Not right now. Y'all have a wonderful night. Today is Thursday. I'll see y'all on Friday at 5:15. Consider you come here, learn how to house homeless veterans since you're so concerned. This is the new. I grew up on encyclopedias. Encyclopedia Britannica. We had two sets because there were 9 children. 6 of us lived in the house together and we were all in school. So this to me is that. So each book is different because it covers a different role or different pathway to housing, but it's the same goal to get you there. For realtors, for everybody finding home, everybody go get this book right now. This book is for social workers, case managers, collaborative housing solutions. Go get it. You want to, I want to do housing, veterans housing. I don't even know what that means. But if you want to do veteran shared housing, go get this book right here. What else? If you want, you say that I'm a nurse. I like it when they say that. Get this book right here because now you can license your place. All right. Boots on the ground. I've got to do 2 more things and then I'm going to release this one. Now, for veterans, you want to learn how to use your VA loan, get this book right here. 3rd edition, Veterans Buying Real Estate Guide for Today's Market. That's what I have for you all today. Thank you so much for, you want to be advocates. You want to be advocates, go buy some books and be an advocate for this amazing community of veterans who sacrificed our lives for yours. You know, we had to sign a paper that said that, that something happens to us, we die. Well, we signed that. We knew that that was a possibility. And for homeless veterans to be, veterans, period, to be treated like this by you because you don't know how to help them. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I'm not going to blame you anymore. So just go get the book so you can learn how. We forgive you when you get the books and learn. See y'all tomorrow, 5:15 Central, God willing. I think he is. I wouldn't be on this path for 22 plus years for nothing. All these heartaches and pains and whoo-wee. Y'all talk about employee workplace, and I didn't even work at the VA. Dang, I'm like, oh, annoying. But they couldn't run me away. They couldn't run me away.
Across America, too many of our heroes return home only to face another battle, the fight for stable housing. Veterans are overrepresented in the homeless population, often caught in a system that is complex, slow, and full of barriers. At VetMentors, we're changing that narrative. For over 20 years, we've been boots on the ground, not just identifying the problem, but building real solutions. That's why we created the U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resource Guide book series, a groundbreaking collection designed to educate, equip, and empower. These guidebooks are written not only for veterans, but also for the communities, organizations, and leaders who serve them. From step-by-step housing models to funding strategies, this series gives social workers, case managers, realtors, and first responders the tools they need to act with speed, dignity, and impact. VetMentors believes housing is not charity. It's a mission, a responsibility, and a pathway to restoring honor. Every guidebook in this series is a resource designed to make sure no veteran is left behind, and no community has to say, "We didn't know how to help." This is how we turn challenges into victories. I'm Yvette Jones Swanson, Army veteran, CEO of VetMentors LLC, and I invite you to join us in rewriting the story for America's veterans.